Good afternoon, everyone. This is the NYC LGBT Historic Sites Project taking over Instagram Live here at Greenwood today. We're joining with Greenwood, a terrific partner of the NYC LGBT Historic Sites Project, to celebrate Pride. I'm joined today in the distance. You see Neela from Greenwood. I'm starting a little bit further away from her because it's a little bit of a cell phone dead zone over there. But we are starting today. It's just going to be a mini walk of a handful of sites. And we are starting at the final resting place of doctors Damien Martin and Emery Hetrick, partners and co-founders of the Institute for the Protection of Lesbian and Gay Youth, which is now known as the Hetrick Martin Institute. It now bears their name. So doctors Hetrick and Martin establish what I said was now the Hetrick Martin Institute because they recognized that LGBTQ youth faced a number of issues that were extraordinary for them to have to deal with as young people in terms of housing insecurity, bullying at school, etc. So they established the Institute and also what has since come to be known as the Harvey Milk High School, which is specifically for students who identify as LGBTQ. Hi, Neela.
Hi, how are you doing, Christiana?
So far, we're good.
Good.
Hopefully the signal works in our favor. Thanks for joining us and walking us around today.
You got it. So, as Christiana just said, we placed a pride flag over at Emery and Hetrick's headstone. Nice pink granite marker flush to the ground. And they are buried together, and their headstone says, death ends a life, not a relationship. So it's very touching, and they're there for each other for all eternity in this beautiful place. So they're our first stop of 4, so yes. We'll come and do the next one.
Yeah, let's keep walking. And
Great.
while we walk, feel free to ask any questions that if you've not had the chance to come to Greenwood before, this is a great chance to ask Neela general questions. If you are not yet familiar with the NYC LGBT Historic Sites Project, please ask questions as well. Later in the month, Greenwood is hosting walking tours, so that's also a great opportunity to come and learn more about the LGBTQ legacy here at Greenwood.
So we're going to take a left off Oakleaf Avenue. I've pinned all our locations just because it's a big place here. We're almost 500 acres, but thankfully we picked some folks who are a little close together for today.
Right.
So if we can keep up, we can keep you engaged. We appreciate. Also, it may or may not rain, you could say, but
if it does start to rain, we'll just start singing Paul Jabara's It's Raining Men.
There you go.
In celebration of Pride, because
Yes.
he also is a permanent resident, as it's known, here of Greenwood. So you said Greenwood is just under 500 acres. When was the cemetery founded?
Cemetery was founded in 1838, and we've really been the sort of Rolls Royce of cemeteries, as my crew says, which means if you want to be buried somewhere, this is the place,
Yeah.
right? So a lot of famous folks, a lot of infamous folks, but really anyone who has a loved one here will tell you that this is a special place no matter who you are.
Excellent. And it sounds like the rain has slightly started. It's totally fine.
Our next stop is right over there,
Oh, great.
next to lot 44605. This is one of my favorite monuments because it has something that I love, which is architecture on monument, which is like a twofer.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a little cartouche or a little relief of a building in the back, which I think is the Brooklyn Institute, which came before the Brooklyn Museum, which this man, Augustus Graham, we see him in the front.
Oh, that was the back.
Was integral in raising money for. He also raised money for the first hospital in Brooklyn. So the official bio is that Augustus Graham, born 1776, was an important figure in early 19th century Brooklyn. He's buried here. His partner is also buried at Greenwood, but they're not buried together. He and his partner John adopted the last name Graham and moved in together and posed as brothers. There was speculation at the time and in the years that followed that these clues indicated a same-sex relationship. Augustus founded the Apprentices Library in Brooklyn Heights, which is showed here, which later became the Brooklyn Institute and finally became the Brooklyn Museum of Art. So if you love our friends over at Brooklyn Museum, this is the man you have to thank.
Oh, interesting.
And my favorite, his partner John, founded the Brooklyn Society for the Relief of Respectable Aged Indigent Females. New York's hottest club. This is women I wanted to meet. Which later became the Graham Home for Old Ladies, which was converted to condos in 2001.
These names.
Yeah, and it's still there in Greenpoint. Oh, Fort Greene. In
Yeah.
Fort Greene. So here we are. We lay a
Yes.
flag here
Plant a flag.
for Graham.
So if you have a chance anytime during the month of June, come keep your eyes peeled for some of these rainbow flags that we're planting today. All right.
Okay. The next one's a little farther away. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, and it's interesting, while we're walking and talking, you mentioned that Graham and his partner are not buried together.
No.
But there are some instances, for example, we'll have to share afterwards a picture of the Hetrick Martin marker, because it does acknowledge that the two of them were a couple together. And there are a couple of instances of that here at Greenwood, right?
Yes.
I remember, I think it was just last year, the last names Dreyer and Keller, Frances Keller and her
Yes.
partner, is it Mary
Dreyer, yeah.
Yes. They are actually together in the Keller family plot, which suggests that the family was aware and
Yes.
supportive to, because they would have had to okay somebody outside the family to be there.
Yes, and I think that shows that, LGBTQIA individuals have been making history and been welcomed into families in some part for a long time. And that's important to also showcase that you don't have to look far to find gay history. It's everywhere.
Which is, I mean, a perfect way to segue just in terms of what is at the heart of the NYC LGBT Historic Sites project. The idea is that LGBTQ history is, like you said, hidden in plain sight right in front of us. It's this invisible history that once you recognize the people who lived there, the events that took place there, the fact that maybe a social space, a bar, a restaurant was an important place for community, then you have a deeper appreciation for those sites.
Totally. And even here at Greenwood, people often ask us, well, how do you know?
Yeah.
Right? How do you know? And for me, everyone is gay. They're all gay, so here we are. But really, it's about looking at someone's life and not sort of outing them after death, but giving them the recognition that they deserve as integral members of an important community. So we're rolling up onto Dr. Cushier, who is very important. Her and her partner, very important.
Such a beautiful, I don't know if I've been in this section of the cemetery before. You
this
really
is
get
good.
the
Yeah.
hill and dale quality of it.
Absolutely.
A little summer rain never hurt anybody.
Nope.
People in the comments saying it's beautiful to hear stories of acceptance. Absolutely. Pride
Totally.
and all year round, please.
Okay, so Elizabeth Cushier and her partner Emily Blackwell. Elizabeth is buried here, and Emily is buried. I think she's buried in Martha's Vineyard,
Okay.
and she's up here. Let's see where she is. Ah, I see. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a hike. Are you ready?
Off-roading it?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, here we go.
So Elizabeth M. Cushier Born 1837, died 1931. It was a leading 19th century obstetrician and surgeon at the New York Infirmary for Women and Children and a professor of medicine at its Women's Medical College, which were both co-founded by her partner, Emily Blackwell, an eminent English-born physician who was the third woman to earn a medical degree in the United States. They lived together in New York from 1882 to 1900, and they were together for 28 years.
And so this is the Cushier family lot.
Yes. So, thank you, Elizabeth.
Bravo for all your work. Excellent.
Great.
All right.
Just like that, only one left.
There are certainly more than just the 4 sites that we're visiting today. Just in the interest of time and geography, we're doing these 4 in particular, but head to nyclgbtsites.org and you can see a much more comprehensive list. I shouldn't say comprehensive because I'm sure that's somewhat impossible.
Who knows?
But a more fulsome list of individuals from the LGBTQ community who you can visit here at Greenwood and celebrate their legacy on American art and culture.
Are you ready? We're gonna off-road again.
Okay.
Okay.
I wore the right shoes for it.
We're gonna go up these little stairs and do a little shortcut.
See, that's the benefit to coming on the virtual tour. You don't have to do the off-roading.
Yeah.
We do it for you.
So this is definitely the day to come out to Greenwood. Not as hot as the past couple of days.
True. Can I ask you a general Greenwood question?
Always.
The landscape here, am I right that it's very much like shaped, glacial shaped?
Very
right?
glacial. We're on a glacial moraine. There's a lot of things that were, of course, manufactured by the folks that created and designed this landscape, but science and nature definitely helped us out.
Oh God, Neela, you're taking me up the
That's right, come
steepest part.
Aha. And now we find ourselves in one of my favorite parts of Greenwood, which is in our European beach LA, which even when it's raining, no rain on us right now, right? So it's a really beautiful part of the cemetery.
You know, when you think about LA's, people always celebrate like a cherry LA, like at the Botanic Gardens, for example, but beach LA, that's a special thing.
Yeah, it's about 10 degrees cooler even on
Yeah.
a cool day, and super beautiful.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9?
Yeah,
8 or 9?
beautiful. All right, we're off-roading again.
Okay.
And this is my favorite tree, European horse chestnut,
Oh.
which just had its bloom season. So we're headed toward Dr. Richard Isse and his husband, I think.
You say, I say? I'm
Isse.
not 100% sure pronunciation.
Let's see if I can find something.
And you really see here, I mean, a mix of monuments to really show you that although Greenwood is a historic site, these are obviously more contemporary stones that we have in front of us here, that it's still very much an active space.
Yes, an active and important space for a lot of different people.
Oh, I'm going to give a special shout out to our friend Inga from Making Gay History podcast. Hi, Inga, in the comments.
Hi, Inga.
And speaking of our first visit, Doctors Hetrick and Martin, definitely check out makinggayhistory.com because there is an episode with Dr. Damien Martin. You can hear him speak to podcast creator and host Eric Marcus about he and his partner's work.
Here you go. So I like to take the old flag and renew the beautiful flag. So a little bit of information about Dr. Isse. Was born in 1934, died 2012, a psychiatrist, a psychoanalyst, an author, and LGBT rights activist. He spearheaded a campaign resulting in the changes to the homophobic policies of the American Psychoanalytic Association in 1991 and was also the organization's first openly gay member. The quote, "loving husbands" inscription on his gravestone is believed to be the first and possibly only such example at Greenwood that explicitly commemorates a same-sex union. So in my book, the monuments tell the story. So this allows us to be really explicit about the folks that are here, unapologetic, and a really beautiful contemporary monument.
And it's really, the need to directly combat a lot of misconceptions and complete fallacies among the medical profession in terms of being LGBTQ as a medical disease, a defect of some kind. There have been not just Dr. Issei, but other activists across the decades who have really taken that cause head on and to help ensure that those distinctions were removed from medical journals, etc. So we're so thankful to their work.
Thank you.
So fresh.
So fresh.
Oh, it looks like there's just a smidgen of confusion in the comments. Nope, actually the opposite. So he helped to advocate to change policies so that homosexuality was not considered a medical disease within his particular medical association, the American Psychiatric Association, I believe it was. There are other activists, Frank Kameny, Barbara Giddings, Kayla Husen, etc., who also worked in a similar vein with the, I'm going to forget the formal name, but the book.
The DSM.
Thank you. The Directory of, which is like the Bible of.
The Bible of psychiatry.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, those were the 4 that we had planned to visit together. Thank you, everybody, so much for taking a little time out of your afternoon to visit with us. While we walk to the road, let us know if you have any final questions, either on the subject of Greenwood, on the subject of Pride Month at Greenwood. Maybe, Neela, just while we walk to the road, can you tell us a little bit about some of the projects you've got going on at the moment here?
Sure. Well, we just finished full restoration of the Garrison Mausoleum over on Vernal Avenue, Vernal and Cypress, and we're having our certificate ceremony commemorating the Bridge to Craft Careers program. So I was helped by students looking to get into the restoration trades, and our completion ceremony is on Wednesday. So
Excellent.
it's on Vernal and Cypress, easy to find on our map. If you enter through our Fort Hamilton Parkway entrance, it's super easy to find. That's our main sort of goal. That was our biggest project that we completed just this week. So big shout out to our partners over at Local 1, World Monuments Fund, and OBT.
And you guys have some great video introducing us to your Mason trainees on your Instagram. So
Yeah.
It's a great place to go. All right, well, I don't have any more comments or questions coming in. So thanks, Neela. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Well, I guess, happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye.